Hello everyone, it is Suzanne Hart here, and I trust you're well. And it is the beginning of fall, and this is a time where people set goals that bring them into the end of the year. And I wanted to really have a conversation that I trust and hope that will serve you. And many of you know that we started the Fab Five. People are taking on their health, their fitness, their wellness, which occurs in mindset, their finances, and their business, right? And they're really evaluating their goals and evaluating their targets and looking at how they will end the year. And so I wanted to come back and really talk a little bit about targets. We've been talking a bit about this in my mastermind, and it's always really interesting to do this distinction for people so that we really grasp how powerful this one concept and conversation is. So for me, I work with targets, and targets are things I aim at, and targets are built in my vision and the things I desire, right? So I may desire a certain income, I may desire a certain home, a certain car, all these different things. I have a desire, a vision of acquiring these things or achieving certain things. Those are targets, and why I call them targets, it's where I aim my vision. It's where I put my attention. It's where I put my focus, right? And in many ways, I don't have 100% control over when they are going to occur, or that over what all the pieces, the moving parts that are required to come together for them to occur. Sometimes I have to surrender to the process, and the process, as you know, goes zig and zag and all, sometimes all over the place, which I prefer it to be a straight line. But that's the stuff we have no control over, but we're aiming at the target. To give you another example of target, if you've ever done riflery, and I did riflery when I was young and I loved it, right? When you first start and you aim at the target with your bow and arrow, when you're not so good, you miss it. And sometimes your arrow doesn't fly and all sorts of different things happen. But the better you get and the more you practice, the higher the likelihood of you hitting the target. And then you get so good at it that you can go to the range and hit the target like 80% of the time. It's really actually quite cool. And hit the bullseye a high level of times, right? So that's why I call it a target, because the more consistently and persistently you do the actions that line you up with that target increases the likelihood that you're gonna hit it, and increases the likelihood that you're gonna hit it when you want to. Okay, so that's why I call it targets. Now let's talk goals, and this is really where the distinction really helps me in my planning. And I know when I did this with my mastermind and we defined targets from goals, they were like, whoa, this is really cool. So a goal are the activities, the actions I'm required to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to ensure that I hit that target. Now, this is the interesting thing about goals. Every goal that I take on, I have control over whether it occurs or not. That's the really interesting thing. So if we focus on health for a moment, what I'm really talking about is that if I have a goal of getting to a certain size, building muscle, all those different things. So let's say I have a health goal of going from a size 8 to a size 6, right? And I want to do that by December 31st, 2018. That is a very clear target. Notice I just shifted my language. Very clear target. That's what I'm aiming at. Now my target is December 31st, 2018. I will be a size 6, lean, trim, fit, all that wonderful stuff. That is my target. I'm aiming at that. Now let's talk about how my goals get me there. The goals are the activities I do that are specific and measurable that increase the likelihood of doing it. And my goals are things that have that a compounded effect. So it might be that I work out 5 days a week for 30 minutes every morning from 7:30 till 8, let's say. Okay, that is a very clear and measurable activity goal that I have total control over whether I do it or not. That is going to increase the likelihood, right? For me, I drink 2 shakes every single day. 2 meal replacement shakes every single day, one first thing in the morning and one mid-afternoon, because it takes the edge off and it ensures I give my body the nutrients to build muscle, lose body fat. So there you go. It's something I have full control over. I purchase my shakes, I drink them at a certain time, I get to choose it, right? It may be that I have 2 small whole organic meals. My carbs tend to be in the early in the day, and no complex carbs towards the end of the day. Those are all choices I make. However, I get full control at whether or not I choose to do that, right? My goal could be I'm drinking half my body weight in ounces of water each day. Notice that's something I have full control whether or not I choose to do that. Now, this is the interesting thing. When you line all those things up, and I usually have 10 goals that help me direct me to my target, what ends up happening is I get the compounded effect of doing those things each and every day. The compounded effect is what most people don't notice and most people don't do. Is doing the small things, right? Remember, your success lives in mastering the mundane, those small things that you do day in, day out. But it's those small things compounded over time that increase the likelihood and pretty well at times guarantee that you're going to hit your target. The other thing is when you do those small things compounded over time, you then get to evaluate. So at the end of every 30 days in my 120-day journey, right, I am going to stop, check in, look at my numbers, look at my activities, line it up with my goals and say, am I moving forward? If I'm not, then I'm going to course correct, I'm going to adjust, I'm going to do something different. The only way I can do that is if I have that compounded effect of consistently and persistently doing the same thing every day. So I can see the journey. So first you have to have a vision, a target, something worthy of your life that you're aiming at, right? Remember the bow and arrow, hitting the target. Then you've got to have activities and actions that you have control over, that you can consistently and persistently do, so you can experience that compounded effect that moves you towards your target. Those are the goals. And then you line up, you schedule them, and then you surrender to the process and watch the magic happen. This is the difference between the quick fix and the destination approach to whatever you're doing, and the lifestyle and journey approach, where you're doing something, you're shifting habits, you're putting in place something that can work long term, so that not only can you get where you want to go, but you can stay there and surpass it, because you're just going to recreate it over and over and over again. So as you go into the fall and you're re-examining your goals and your targets, I wanted to just line that up for you. I trust it serves you. I know when we did it in my mastermind, people were like, OMG, this is amazing. This is so powerful. And it so serves me. And we dove into it. We broke it down. We answered questions. And people walked away feeling powerfully equipped to move into the last quarter of the year. Take care. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.